Hey gang, it's Deltia from deltiasgaming.com. Today's video in Tamriel A to Z, I want to talk about bar swapping at level 15 and then also how to power level skills. So you can get those important skills and morphs that you want, or if you pick the wrong morph or skill, how do you get those skill points back? So first things first, I'm on my Dumber Dragonknight, Deltia the Wildfire, and I've hit level 17, which is above 15, so I got my bar swapping. Bar swapping 101. Make sure you set your keybind to something really important that you're going to use frequently, because you're going to bar swap all the time. For me personally, I rebound this key to the middle mouse button. So if you're new and you don't have that set up yet, go to Control, Keybinds, oops, scroll right here, Weapon Swap. And then click the button that you want. I did middle mouse. Now let me show you why. Console players, I don't know what this button's going to be, but you can rebind it to one of your frequently pressed buttons because I like middle mouse on the keyboard so I can press it and still hit my 1 through 5 key. So when I'm walking, if I want to cast spells, I can go 1, 2, 3. So I can just keep on clicking those buttons while I'm moving. That's why it's so important to rebind this key. So a couple tips with bar swapping. What do you do with your character once this happens? 1, get a defensive bar set up. So for me, bar 1 is my defensive sword and shield. I block. I have a self-heal with green dragon's blood. I have some crowd control with burning talons. That's my defensive bar. Bar 2 is my offensive bar with the destruction staff. So, if I want to start a fight, I get going with Elemental Blockade, a Crushing Shock, do some damage, and I still have Green Dragon's Blood if I get in trouble. So those are the bars that I like to use and set up. Now, not everyone has a self-heal starting off, so it's really important to use Restoration Staff because soloing and leveling, you have to heal, you have to do damage, and you're probably not going to be with a dedicated healer. So having those things available is really going to help make the leveling process easier. Otherwise, it's just a damage race, and sometimes you'll lose that damage race. So I like to have a heal. Make sure that if you're using a Resto Staff, a good Restoration Staff starting out is Grand Healing. As a Dragon Knight, I get Green Dragon's Blood. Templars have a good self-heal. Sorks have a bubble. But really, until you get something like that, I would go Restoration Staff. Okay, enough of that. Now some tips on how to power level your skills. First off, I have a really detailed guide on my website. I will leave in the description. Took me about 20 hours, so please read that with details on everything. If you read the tooltip, improve this skill by earning XP. Okay, well that's not really that helpful. But there are some tricks here. You notice each additional Ardent Flame spell to increase the skill's advancement. So what you do is, if you want to level up this skill line, you load up your bar. That makes sense, right? Including the ultimate. But what people don't realize is, before you turn in a quest, you can load up skills that you want to morph that maybe you don't want to use all the time. So for me, Earth and Heart is one of those skill lines that takes a while to level. So before I turn in a quest, if I want to catch this Earth and Heart up to 24 like my Ardent Flame, I'll put Stone Fist on here. I got Magma Armor, so now I have 3 skills. Then I go into a quest turn in. And I turn this sucker in. Bang. Now I've earned all of that XP, 5,000 for that skill line. Look how fast that leveled. So it's much, much faster if you do it that way than the other way. So a couple other things here about skill leveling. You can do that. Another weird thing is, even though you have a destruction staff equipped, you can still put a sword and shield skill on your bar and get that leveled. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but remember, skills level based on the experience you earn on the bar that you have. So, bar 2, whatever you are when a quest turn in or you're killing mobs, that's where the experience goes. So don't expect bar 1 to level if you're playing on bar 2. I know a lot of people swap out gears and bar for quest turn in or major achievements to get those skills level. I recommend you do the same thing. Okay, so as far as morphs and picking skill, invariably, if you're starting out this game, or even later on, you're going to need to change morphs and or skills. Let me show you how to do that. Every faction has their own hub. For the Aldemary Dominion faction, it's in Grotwood. So Ordon's your very first starter island. The very next place you go to is your hub, Grotwood. Grotwood has the Undaunted dailies. It has your vendors and shrines that you can respec at. If you're playing in Daggerfall, it's going to be Stormhaven. And if you're playing in the crazy one, the reds always kill me, I hate you. It's going to be the Rift. And I think it's the Rift. Is it the Rift? East March. Well, someone will tell me if I'm wrong. So I'll leave that in the comments when I update that. But either way, you're going to have a main town hub that you can respec. So how do you know how to respec or change those skills in Morphs? You're looking for shrines. The Shrine of Mara is where you get married. The other two shrines are the ones that you can get attribute points back and or skills. People ask me all the time, Deltia, how many attributes? Deltia, how many attributes? I don't get too caught up in attributes. I really, really don't. I just put all in health until I hit max level, then I tune up my gear and damage, and I go respec it. I respec it a lot. I probably do it twice a week. Do my attributes, I change my skills, even at endgame. Yes, it's always a fine-tuned battle. There's some people that never respec. For me personally, I'm always testing stuff. So if you hit your map, these are the shrines you're looking for. Ariel and Stendar, those are the two that reset attributes and or skills. So, the first one here, Ariel. This will give your attribute back, and it costs, I think, 100 gold per attribute, or 50, something like that. I don't want to change that now, just so you know that's what it looks like. Number 2, Stendar. Gives you two options, morphs or skills. You want to do skills if you've invested in like a skill line, let's say two-hander, and now you're playing magic and want to do destruction staff. Otherwise, just go ahead and do the morphs. So let's take morphs. Gain 9 skill points, so I had 9 morphs. Now it gives me those points back, so I still have the base skill, but yet I can morph it. So a couple things about morphs and or skill lines. Skills go to level 4 first, then you can morph it into something else. So at level 4, Fiery Breath will turn into something else that will allow me to morph it. Like this, you get two options. So Unstable Flame or Burning Embers. What you're really looking for is what does the new effect do? Heals one and effect ends. Well, that makes sense because I'm leveling, I do need heals. Let's click that. Burning Embers. Now you notice Burning Embers 1. So after you morph something, it has to go to level 4 again to fully be leveled. While you're leveling the skills, it might increase your damage, might increase your armor, might increase the healing, something. But you're going to get the most maximum benefit when that skill is reached rank 4. So if you don't like the Burning Embers morph, you want to come back, Shrine of Sensdar. It's only going to cost me 50 gold based on the amount of skills unmorphed I have. So that was just one. 50 gold. And now, back to Searing Strike. So I can go ahead and remorph those for I want. So don't get too concerned if you screw up a skill line. Skill lines are different on how you level them. Weapons, you have to have basically on your bar. Armor, you have to have that stuff equipped. So for armor, I really recommend putting points into passives early on. Especially magic users, you're going to want light. You're going to want medium if you're using stamina, and you're going to want heavy if you're using a tank. So I do 5 pieces of my main setup, so I'm using light, 5 pieces of light, 1 piece of heavy, 1 piece of medium. Deltia, why would you use medium on a light armor character? Because you want to unlock these heavy armor abilities and medium armor abilities. This is invaluable in PvP. Even though you may never use heavy armor in your character, still throw on a piece to keep it leveled. Another tip here is you can even go as far as to have training gear on your character. So you're going to increase that skill leveling by 66% per character. You can even do it on your sword and shield and destruction staff. So I know a lot of console players are going to come into this. You have to learn the traits. I'm going to get to crafting later. But if you get someone with training, it's invaluable starting off on your character and your quest to become that ultimate dumb or Dragonknight. So level those skills evenly. Just as a reminder, put 1 skill of each on your bar. So 1 Ardent Flame, 1 Draconic Power, 1 Earthen Heart, and then a weapon skill line. So for me, it would be a Destruction Staff skill line, and then maybe something else, like a Mage's Guild. Note that the Mage's Guild levels differently. If you want to know how something levels, come to my site, deltiasgaming.com, or just look at the tooltip. No, it's not inherently, doesn't tell you exactly what it is, or, I don't know, the best wording per se, but it's still going to let you know what you have to do. So that's my little pro tips on weapon swapping. Make sure you have an easy keybind so you can access, move, and still hit your keys. Skill leveling, you're only going to get skills that level when they're on your bar. So if you're on bar 2, you're getting an XP, that's not going to level your number 1 skills, your bar 1 skills. It's going to level whatever you're on. Load up your bar if you don't want to level those skills and get them morphed that you don't use frequently, turn in a quest, and maximize your leveling. I hope you guys love this video. I think it's really important to level the skills. I didn't get this information for a very long time, so it's really going to help you players, and I hope you learned something. As always, thank you for watching. I can't wait to make more Tamriel A to Z videos.